and you can go ahead and start.
All right, well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining live and taking time out of your day. I know time's precious, so I'm going to jump right in here. We're going to be talking about trading psychology and mindset. And specifically, I'm going to share some details with you about how shifting my mindset about losing turned me into a profitable trader. So this is really applicable to any kind of trader, but let's just dive right in. My name is Valerie Fox. I'm the Consistent FX Profits founder, and I'll tell you a little bit more about me later, but welcome. Thanks for joining me. I am going to be offering a Q&A at the end. So if you have questions, just hold them till the end. And if there's time, we'll definitely jump into those. Quick disclaimer, I'm, sharing a lot of info today. It's intended to be, for educational purposes. It's not supposed to be investment advice. The government also has me do a disclaimer about, trading and the risk involved. And also I'm going to be sharing some results and testimonials, my results, other people's results. So just know that everyone's experience is different and it's not intended to represent a guarantee or anything like that. So I'm going to provide today some information about me, about trading, about mindset, insights that you can actually take action on as well. So I want to just kind of open up by letting you know how you can best take advantage of this presentation is to limit distractions, right? Close down other windows if you're internet browsing, or silence your phone and just grab a pen and paper and give me your attention. Make the most of this opportunity. So this training is for, just want to let you know if you're in the right place, right? So new traders who are looking to make money trading, experienced traders who are looking to sharpen their mindset, or traders wanting more time and less stress with their trading. So if you're in any of those buckets, you're in the right place. And if you stick with me to the end here, I'm going to be giving you my trade plan checklist. So if you've known me or read any of my content or social media, I'm a big advocate of using a trade plan, and I'll talk to you more about that. But I give you a checklist that's really cool that you can take and apply to whatever you're trading, whether you're a stock trader, futures trader, options, or Forex. So really, really cool content there if you stick with me to the end. And here's what I'm going to cover today: how shifting my mindset about losing turned me into a profitable trader. So before we jump into that, I want to just kind of stop and talk about kind of the whole cold hard truth about trading, right? So a lot of people want to trade, not a lot. Well, a lot. I think even more every single day, more people kind of get turned on to this idea about trading, making money, or maybe taking over their investment accounts, and just kind of the power of that, either of supplemental income or, turning it into job replacing income as well. And the truth is there's a lot to it, right? So, everything from taking all the information that's out there and boiling it down to what you're going to move forward with, choosing what kind of market you're going to invest in. And it can be hard. It can be time consuming. You can go down this, psychological trading spiral. And, there's all these stats out there about how many traders don't make it. And I don't know what's true and what's not true. But the truth is it can be difficult if you don't have the right trading strategy, if you don't learn to execute it, if you, don't have the right person that's in your corner helping you through the learning curve. So it can be difficult, but it doesn't have to be, right? And there's plenty of people that are able to come out the other side, making money, paying off credit card bills, getting new cars, leaving their jobs. So there's a lot of upside opportunity. And so I want to also talk about what is possible with trading. So you can find an edge in the market. You can execute flawlessly. That's something you totally control. And you can profit consistently over time. And I know because I've done all of this, right? So I'm speaking from experience, but I've done all that, and you can do all that without breaking the bank, without years of spending all day in front of your computer, and also without losing your mind. So that's probably the most important part there, losing your mind. You don't want to do that. So here's a little bit about my journey. Like I said, some of you may or may not know me, so I'll just go over this quickly. Graduated college, went into corporate America, worked my way up the corporate ladder, loved it. So all was good. I was just like thriving and just totally loving it. And then I met my husband. I fell in love. And I realized all those, long hours, working in the evenings, working over the weekends wasn't really what I wanted anymore. I felt a little trapped, right? I wanted more freedom. I wanted more time. And that's when I started thinking about other ideas and other ways to make money. And when I discovered trading, and that kind of unlocked a lot of doors for me once I got to that point. So I'd been in corporate America for over 10 years and was doing very well. You know, I was making six figures, but I just wasn't fulfilled and I wanted my time and financial freedom. So trading really opened the door for me to achieve that. So here's a little bit about me specifically. Here's my picture since we don't have video on this one. And, you know, I'm a price action trader in the Forex market. So I don't use any indicators. I'm using analysis of the candlestick charts and price action to trade. And I'm a day trader as well. So I've been day trading for over 9 years. So that means I'm in and out of the market in a single day. I win over 70% of my trades. So consistency is what I'm all about. Hence the name of my company, Consistent FX Profits. And I spend less than an hour a day in my charts. So I would consider myself to be more of a lifestyle trader. You know, I spend little time. I also am super conservative. You know, conserving my, you know, protecting that hard-earned money is really important to me. Growing it is obviously the intent, but, you know, comes secondary. So I only risk 1% of my account balance per trade, and I make over 6 times the average annual return of the S&P 500. So pretty good deal to get that consistent return on limited, you know, small amounts of time a day, only risking a small percent of my account on each trade to get good returns. And the truth is, I learned the hard, long, and expensive way. So now you don't have to. So, you know, this all sounds super lovely and great. My journey was not just like straight from the bottom to the top. I had a lot of back and forth and learning things the hard way and, you know, blows to my mindset and my bank account along the way. So I left my corporate job, or JOB as I like to call it, in 2018. Super grateful for that, solely due to trading, you know, being able to replace my 6-figure income. And now, since then, I've also coached hundreds of traders to get consistent results too. So my emotional ups and downs. So we're here talking about mindset. So this is really relevant because I'm sure if you have experienced trading, or maybe you're wanting to get into trading, you're aware that it can be tough, right? So here was my personal journey, just to share with you. I kind of get a kick out of this. So, you know, I realized I was going to start trading. I was super excited, pumped. I was like moving fast. I'm like, I'm going to just soak in all this information as I go, and just like totally over consuming so much information. I thought I knew a lot more than I really knew. So I'm like, I'm going to put in money now. You know, this was, you know, over 9 years ago, you guys remember. So I'm like just blowing things, you know, like checking boxes and thinking I know exactly what I'm doing. And then I start trading with real money, and my performance is like, you know, down and down and down. I'm losing money. You know, I'm not being smart from a risk mitigation strategy. I'm not like being true to myself about like what I actually know. I'm just like so bound and determined to make this work that I'm like giving it my all in a very not smart kind of way. So I had a lot of losing trades. I was losing money. It was very sad. There were tears. And then, you know, even more like my heart melting as like, you know, a couple of years passed and I still was struggling to figure it out, right? I wasn't where I thought I'd be. I'd set all these goals for myself about all the things I could achieve so quickly with trading, and just was completely heartbroken that here I am, this smart college educated person, and I couldn't figure it out. Well, you know, I had to take a humble pill, so to speak, and realize that I was part of the problem. I wasn't tackling it right. I had to strengthen my knowledge. I had to strengthen my mindset and change a lot of things I was doing, hold myself accountable to my own results, stop blaming other people, and really look in the mirror. And that's what I did. And that's where it all turned around. And, you know, I always say trading is kind of like 50% your trading strategy and 50% your mindset. So today we're going to focus on mindset, and let's continue here. Oh yeah, was it all worth it, right? So I did all that. Sounds like, you know, an awful like emotional roller coaster, but was it all worth it? Of course it was. So here's just a couple pictures. You know, you heard me say earlier, I'm a lifestyle trader. I value my time and I love to travel. This is some pictures from last year's. Here I am in Prague, the Czech Republic, with my family. This picture's in Hallstatt, Austria. So in both of these pictures, you see that I have a little backpack purse on. Well, my laptop is literally in my backpack, and I'm trading while I travel throughout Europe. So just so awesome, spending time with my family. You know, since my strategy doesn't take much time, it's like, hey, I'm just in a cafe for 30 minutes, and then I'm out back exploring with my family. Here I am at the second story cafe, drinking some coffee or meia de leite in Portugal. This is Lisbon. What you don't see in that picture is my daughter to the left of me spilling orange juice everywhere. But hey, that picture of my laptop screen there and the coffee was like so picturesque, I had to include it. And then here I am in Madeira, Portugal, and it's an island, and I had an Airbnb right on the ocean there. You can see the waves crashing in the background. So I've got this just like awesome sound. I'm trading, about to head out for a day of touring around the island. So trading has really given me a lot of opportunities, and I'm so grateful for it. And that's why I love sharing, you know, my wins and what I've learned over the years to help traders shorten their learning curve, because it's just so powerful what it can do. Another question that people ask me a lot, so I know we have a lot of varying types of traders on the call here. So why Forex? Why did I choose Forex over the stock market, over options, over futures, over Nadex? Like, why Forex? So I'm going to quickly touch on that real fast. This is why I personally believe Forex beats other markets and why I chose it for myself. Top 5 reasons. First and foremost, market size. So Forex, or the foreign currency exchange market, is actually the largest financial market in the world. So let that sink in for a minute. It's larger than the stock market by far. There's over like $5 trillion that flow through the Forex market each and every day, compared to, you know, the stock market has about 200 billion. So still a lot of money flowing through the stock market every day, but I'm substantially bigger in Forex. So what does that mean? Why does that matter? What that means is you're going to have great liquidity in your trading, meaning when you want to buy and sell, there's no like waiting for buyers and sellers. There's just so much money going in all directions at all times. You can get instant order execution, which is really cool and also very important if you want to day trade. Also, number 2, 24-hour trading. So the Forex market is open 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. Why that mattered to me is when I started trading, I was still working full time. So yeah, trading the stock market's great, but you know, it's open business hours, which is also when I was working at the time. So I wanted something that gave me more flexibility with my time, and the Forex market offered that. Simplicity, number 3. So there's power in simplicity. And if you just think about the number of currencies versus the number of stocks, right? So in the currency market, the foreign exchange market, there's hundreds of currency pairs combinations. In the stock market, there's, you know, over 7,000 companies to choose from. So what I found is, like, when I talk to a lot of stock traders, they're spending like 90% of their time just simply narrowing down what they're even going to trade or analyze. Whereas I come in each morning with my trading strategy. Yes, there are hundreds of currency pairs. I don't trade them all. Some of them have very expensive spreads and don't have the movement that I need. So I focus on 28 currency pairs. I know exactly the ones I'm going to look at. I browse through each of them to see if they meet my qualifications. If they do, I trade them. If they don't, I don't trade them. It's as simple as that. I'm able to really narrow my focus, which saves me a lot of time, which is something that's important to me. Number 4, leverage. So Forex is a leveraged market, which means with the same deposit, you can trade a higher position size, which means you can make more money more quickly on the same deposit. Now, there is the downside to that too, right? If you can make more money on a given deposit, you can also lose more money. So this is where, you know, risk management, risk mitigation is incredibly important in all trading, but also in Forex being a leveraged market. That's really, really important. The low barrier of entry is the last one, right? So as a day trader in Forex, you know, the broker I use, you can have an account size as low as like $50. Day trading stock market and other markets, sometimes you have to have an account of like 20,000 or 25,000 just to get that level of execution. So Forex allows you to have a low barrier of entry to get started. I tell all my clients to start small while you're learning. Why would you put all of your money into a trading account when you're still learning and refining your execution and getting consistency? Like, start small, start somewhere between 100 and 2,000, refine your execution, get results, and then scale up from there when you're ready, right? If you can make, 10% in a month on a $500 account, you can also make 10% in a month on a $50,000 account. Like, it's all scalable. So start small, build your confidence, get results, and then scale up from there. And that's what I love about Forex. So let's dive in. How shifting my mindset about losing turned me into a profitable trader. So misconception number one here: I need to know where price is going next. I hear this all the time. And sometimes people like say it even when they don't really mean to say it, where they're like, oh yeah, I know price is going to go down. I know price is going to go up. I'm going to buy here because price is going up. And they just like make these assumptions that they know where price is going, or they need to know where price is going. And that's a mindset thing, you guys, and that will impact you. So the truth is, no one actually knows where price is going next, right? So like, we have these strategies and things to help us get a probability, right? Trading is all about probabilities. It's not about being right and wrong. It's about finding a trading strategy that gives you an edge, right? You need a proven trade plan that gives you an edge, something that gives you a higher likelihood that price is going to go towards your take profit or towards the direction than not. So, you need to know the exact qualifications you're looking for before you ever enter a trade. This is one of the many details I include in a trade plan, but the qualification section is something that's really important. If you don't know what you're looking for, that's giving you an edge in a trade, that's giving you a higher likelihood of the trade moving in your direction or in your favor, then you need to pause a minute and figure that out before you even buy or sell anything, right? Misconception number two: I must have done something wrong if I had a losing trade, right? Well, the truth is, you'll never win 100% of your trades, right? It goes back to misconception number one there about knowing, thinking you know where price is going to go. If everyone knew where price was going, they'd win every single trade, and there'd be tons of millionaires out there, and everyone would probably be trading, right? But that's not the case. Even if you follow your trade plan to a T, you will never win 100% of your trades. There's always going to be losing trades in there, even when you have an edge, even when you know what your qualifications are for giving you that high probability trade setup. And this is kind of different than like other things in life, right? In college, in business, at your job, when you follow a set of rules or a plan or a process, you're used to being able to execute flawlessly with that consistent result of doing things right every single time. But trading is a little different. Losing trades will always be a part of the equation, even for successful traders. And that's just a concept that, from a mindset standpoint, is difficult for people to grasp and to accept. So the solution here is really to focus on your execution, right? Focus on following the rules in your trade plan with each and every trade, not on the outcome. So what I tell traders I work with is, when you're done with the trade, win or lose, right? Go back and reflect. Hold yourself accountable to your trade plan and your trading rules, and ask yourself, did you follow your rules, right? And if you did, then you celebrate, no matter if it was a winner or a loser. And if you didn't, then it's a time to reflect and hold yourself accountable and figure out what you did wrong or why you slipped up in not following your rules, and just make sure it doesn't happen again. That's all you can do. You have to just focus on what you can control, which is the execution of your trade plan. And when you do that, consistent execution will yield consistent results. So focusing on your execution is really going to mitigate your mind from spiraling each time you have a losing trade. Super huge. Misconception number three: if I keep losing, the trading system must not work. So this is a little bit of an elaboration of the ones prior to this, but bear with me for a second. So the truth is, you should first determine if you've perfected the process. So there are good and bad systems out there, right? Like, you need to have an edge. The trading strategy you're using needs to be proven, or it needs to provide income over time. But a lot of people that are newer to trading, like, they get a couple losing runs and they're like, oh, this strategy doesn't work. And they don't even give themselves the time to perfect the process, right? They haven't. So many traders move on to the next shiny system before they even fully learn the one they're on, which is, a disservice to yourself. So are you holding yourself accountable to truly learning and perfecting your execution of your trading strategy? It's a good question to ask yourself. Do you have your trade plan written down? I've said this before many times already in this PowerPoint, but I believe in having your trade plan written down. It should have the details about exactly how you're executing, where you're entering, where you're exiting in loss, where you're exiting in profit, how you're managing the trade. If you don't know it well enough to write it down, again, pause your trading. Make sure you know what you're doing. So many people just kind of dabble and they're like, oh yeah, I think I'm doing this, I think I'm doing that. And then, oh, the system doesn't work that I just bought. And it's like, you didn't even learn it. You didn't even master your execution of it. So how do you even know if it works or doesn't work? You didn't even give it a fair shot. So the lesson here is to treat trading like a business and not a hobby. You need to hold yourself accountable. You need to make sure you learn it. If you're using someone else's system, you need to rely on them to help get you clarity. You have a mentor when you buy a program, and you need to make sure you're asking questions if things don't make sense. Misconception number 4 is I don't need to use a stop loss. Or another version of this is it's okay to move my stop loss. So I'm a big advocate. The truth is you should always use a stop loss and don't ever move it. Let me tell you why. So your stop loss determines the amount of risk you're willing to take on that trade. Your stop loss represents a price point where you no longer have your edge, right? We talked earlier about the reason you enter a trade is because you've identified an edge. You've identified a high probability trade setup. So your stop loss is representative of where you no longer have that edge, or where the probability is against you, or simply where, the trade didn't move in your favor and you're okay to get out at a loss, right? And it's on to the next trade. Your stop loss should be determined and the location known before you ever enter a trade. So I always use a stop loss, and I always I use limit entries or pending orders because with the way I trade, the trade sets up in advance and I am waiting for a price to pull back to my entry point. So in my pending order, I have my entry price, I have my stop loss price, and I have my take profit price. All of those are known in advance before I ever enter the trade, before the trade even triggers, and they're predefined into my orders so that I know what my risk is. I'm accepting that risk. I'm entering because I have an edge, and then I can just let the trade move, right? So when you know your risk, you can calculate the proper position size. And when you hold yourself to that, you're accepting the risk by entering the trade. I think that's actually a good mindset concept here, because most people don't truly accept risk when they start trading. And that's a mindset thing, right? Everyone knows kind of conceptually that trading is risky. But each trade you enter, you need to be okay with the risk. You could even just consider every trade you enter as a loser, right? Because you should be accepting the risk that that trade will lose, right? Obviously, that's not what you want to have happen. And if you're using a proven system, that should happen less times than hitting your take profit. But you need to just from a mindset standpoint, accept the risk. Put it on your trade journal as a losing trade, and then change it to a winning trade when it hits its take profit. There's so many factors or little tools you could do here if this is something you struggle with. But in your mind, enter the trade, count it as a losing trade. And then when you hit your take profit, obviously you'll be celebrating, and not only the outcome, but the execution. But losing is going to be part of the game. Just make sure you're mitigating it and you're using your stop loss as part of your risk mitigation strategy. So those several things make it that simple to really, when you focus on those 4 things, your mindset about trading is going to shift. So the lessons here: accept that trading is all about finding high probability trade setups. With every trade, focus on your execution of your trade plan and not on the outcome, right? When you have a written down trade plan, when you know your trade rules, you're going to be able to do that. Focus on one trading strategy and treat it like a business, not a hobby. Give the trading strategy that you're using the time of day, right? Master it, hold yourself accountable to it, give it a fair shot so that you know if it works for you or not. And use your stop loss as your risk mitigation strategy. So huge, so huge. Speaking from someone who's lost a lot of money trading early on in my early years. So it's that simple. Doing these 4 things are really going to help put your mindset in the right spot with trading so that you can get those results and become a profitable trader. So do you see how these misconceptions can get in your way? I mean, if you weren't using a stop loss, or if you've been moving your stop loss after you're in a trade, or if you've been jumping from system to system, wondering why it's not working, I mean, gosh, that is a lot of like emotional trading, psychological ness. I know I just totally made that up. To really process in your mind. You feel like you're failing. No one wants to fail, right? You're like putting yourself out there, trying to learn how to trade, and then you're just basically like hitting wall after wall after wall. Like you want to succeed at this, and you can. You just have to get past some of these like mindset hurdles. And are you excited about the possibilities trading could bring into your life? I mean, it's incredible, and I speak from experience very humbly because I know like I had a long journey to get here, but I also know it doesn't have to be that hard. So what would you do with some extra money? Like you saw what I did. I've been traveling, I left my job. I didn't go into detail but on my finances, but I've paid off credit card bills, I've paid off my cars. Like, so amazing what this extra income can do. So if I can help you learn to trade and get those consistent results, right? That was so huge for me. Would you want to know more about how, right? And I mean, if you're not saying yes, you're probably not on the right call. So I'm going to give you an offer here. Like, I'm going to tell you how I can help. But I first want to talk about the biggest problem for most traders. So really fascinating concept here. And I think that you'll be able to relate to it in some capacity. So if I give you this cake, right, this big, beautiful, tasty cake, and I set it in front of you, and then I also just give you all the ingredients that are needed to make that cake, right? You've got this cake, you've got the example of what you want, and now you've got all the ingredients sat in front of you. Do you think you'd be able to make the cake? Most people would completely flop on being able to take the ingredients right in front of them that I just used to make this beautiful, tasty cake and be able to reproduce it themselves. Why is that? Because you don't have the measurements, you don't know what temperature to put your oven on, and you don't know how long to cook the cake, right? So yeah, you could probably figure it out if you tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried, right? Gosh, I don't even want to think how long it would take me to figure that out over time between the ingredients, the measurements, oven temperature, cook time, right? There's so many moving parts that just being given the ingredients isn't enough to be able to duplicate and replicate the making of this amazing cake. This is the same thing for trading and traders, right? There's so much information out there. There's courses and strategies and mentors and all this stuff, right? And like indicators and trading styles and trading approaches and so different trade things to trade. Like there's all this stuff out there, and there is a lot of really great free information out there. But if you don't know how to apply it and put it together in the right way, you're never going to get the same result that you're looking for. And you see all these other people trading and you're looking and seeing people doing it, but if you don't know the exact plan, then it becomes very difficult to get the same result. So what I'm going to offer you today is the recipe, right? The recipe for trading, the roadmap, the exact plan, my exact trading strategy, actually. So what I'm going to introduce to you right now is my educational program. I call it Consistent FX Profits Online, or CFXP Online for short. And what you're going to get is you're going to learn the exact way I trade to generate over 70% wins. And how you're going to learn that is through my step-by-step video training course, which includes 8 modules. So I want to take a moment and tell you what's in this course, because I think it will really help you process like the level of detail that you get and how this may or may not be able to help you. So module 1 is all about restoring your mind. This entire presentation is about mindset, right? So I actually start my course, and this was well before I ever signed, said I would do this mindset speech, right? Like mindset's so important to trading. 50% of your success is around mindset. So that's what I start off with in my training. Set you up for success by getting your mindset in the right place to begin a new trading strategy. Module 2 is all about strengthening your knowledge. I review the basics of Forex, right? In case you're new to Forex. I talk about brokers, broker selections, setting up your charts, trading terminology, Forex terminology, and much more in that kind of baseline knowledge module. Then I go into formulating your plan. So I go into detail about the core components I use for technical analysis and price action trading. And then we implement your plan. So I give you that tool, I give you the trade plan. I teach you the exact trade plan I use, basically using all the core components I taught you in the previous module to get that 70% win rate, how I enter, how I qualify, where I exit, etc. Module 5 is all about, so you actually start trading halfway through the course. So at the end of module 4, you're trading. And then the second half of the course is all about, really that treating trading like a business and not a hobby, right? So I'm going to give you some tools, skills, things like that that'll kind of sustain you long-term with trading. So module 5 is all about optimizing your execution. So I provide you with a customized tool and additional strategies to manage and optimize your execution. A lot of that's about holding yourself accountable, which I'll go into detail in that module. Module 6 is about enhancing your skills. So I advance your skills by going deeper into price action analysis, expanding your chart reading capabilities. I love price action trading. And so, there's the basics of what you need to know, but then there's also a bunch more, and I share that with you. Module 7 is about multiplying your results, right? So I guide you in creating what I call your personal performance-based scaling model, and explaining how you can scale your profits with my trading approach. There's a lot of different things you can do to make money more quickly. But I want to set the framework, again, treating trading like a business, that your performance-based scaling model is personal to you, and it should be performance-based. Anytime you're adding more money, trying to scale and grow, you need to make sure you're getting performance or results or profitability first. So I give you kind of that nice balance of knowing when to do that and how you can do it. And module 8 is about launching your independence. So I equip you with additional ways to maintain a resilient mind or mindset and create your personal protection plan, which is another one of my big picture risk mitigation things. And then last but not least, sustaining your success. That's what we're all here for. To get results for a short period of time means nothing. Like, you want the results long term. So I give you the full toolkit and equation to be able to do that in my online program. Next, get my PowerPoint here. There we go. And there's more. So you don't just get the course when you work with me. I'm also going to give you a toolkit that makes everything easier. Who likes easy? I do. Anyone? No one wants to make this hard, right? So I give you the training videos, but I'm also going to give you a lot of other things, this toolkit that's going to make it even easier for you to learn. Number 1, you're going to get a workbook for each module. So you have all the educational content in one document and a place to add personal notes. You're going to get the proven trade plan I use, right? The exact trade plan I use to win over 70% of my trades. So simple and straightforward, anyone can follow along and realistically expect similar results. I have traders all the time taking the exact same trade I'm taking at the exact entry point and exit point. So huge that, I know in my early years, everything was so subjective, or it seemed that way. And I would struggle to find the same exact trades that my people can do, or that my coaches at the time could do. Number 3, you're going to get the trade journal and the metrics tracker. So that's going to help you measure and track your trading success in a very specific way, where you can hold yourself accountable, hone in on the specific metrics that are most important to your long-term success. And this is the easiest way to build your confidence, right? So when you see that you're doing well, you're getting results, you're not making mistakes anymore, that is a huge confidence builder. And it's obviously great for your bank account too, or your trading account rather. You're going to get a performance-based scaling model. So I talked about that earlier, but it's going to tell you exactly when you're ready for more, not in an emotional way, but in a strategic way that aligns with your vision for trading and your risk tolerance. So you'll know exactly when to grow and scale your account to avoid sabotaging your profits. And number 5, the growth and scaling calculator that allows you to calculate your growth for years to come. So you're going to understand exactly how your hard work and dedication is going to pay off in the long run. And let me just tell you, the power of compounded growth is such a beautiful thing. I am a day trader, like I've said earlier, and so I actually take advantage of daily compounded growth, and I teach you how to do the same thing. So just really huge for like what you're making today versus a year from now is exponential, which is really cool. This toolkit's valued at $4.95. And I'm going to sweeten the deal even more. I'm going to give you 2 bonuses. Here's the first bonus. You get to join an exclusive trading community where you can connect with traders from around the globe, learn, grow, and profit together, and ask me questions anytime. So this is really huge, right? Because when you're learning something new, you don't want to feel like you're alone, first and foremost. So you get this community of other traders that are learning and trading the same way you are. But furthermore, you can ask me questions. This is where you have direct access to me in this trading community. So I don't know about you, but when I'm learning something new, I'm totally like a question asker. I want to make sure I understand it. You know, going back to what I was saying earlier about how important it is for your mindset to be able to make sure you understand what you're doing so that you can execute flawlessly. So huge. So this trading community is valued at $1,995. And here's the icing on the cake. Bonus number 2. Participate in weekly group coaching calls. So this is me like actively getting live time with you every single week. You're going to shorten your learning curve, win more trades, and trade like a pro from these weekly group coaching calls. Each week, what you're going to get is me on a call with you, video call, and with other traders in the group. These are also recorded, by the way. So if you can't make them, no big deal. They're just as valuable after the fact. But you're going to get bonus training topics. So every week I come to the table with giving you some clarity or bonus training on something. You're going to have the opportunity to ask me questions and to get visual responses, right? So you can submit questions to me in advance. You can ask questions on the call. You know, I'm pulling up my charts and we're going through things in a very visual way so that you can connect those dots. Going to review actual trades, right? So all the trades that I've taken the last week in detail, I'll review them with you. And then last but not least, and this is the most powerful part, the live chart analysis, where we're literally looking for trades together every single week. So this supports everything you learn in the course. It really helps you connect the dots more quickly. And you just get to hear my commentary, right? Like, here's what I see, here's what I don't see. So just really strengthening your confidence in what you've learned and your ability to execute it on your own. So in addition to this weekly group coaching, I'm also going to extend your access. So normally you get access to the community and the group coaching calls for 8 months. And now on this call, for being here, I'm rewarding you with a full 12 months. So these calls are valued at $4,995. Again, a full year every single week. So 52 weekly group coaching calls. Pretty awesome. Here's what some people are saying about my program, just in case you want to like see what other people think and experience. So I'm genuine, grateful to have you in this program in my life while they're sheltering in place. Love that one. So people are talking about trades and that they're winning. They're loving the live sessions. Got some perfectionists in the group. If you know me, I'm such a perfectionist and I like things very black and white and not gray. So Timothy was saying that like he was over second guessing himself, and basically what I taught him in the program gave him that like black and white strategy that he was looking for and solidifies generalizations he was previously making. You know, solid price action, money management, taking time to go over and explain things, valuable workbook, super helpful tools, fantastic strategy, easy to execute. People are again talking about trades and making money, simple trading method, organized. You know, Glenn was making trades in less than 2 weeks. He's been with me for several months, well, probably almost 9 months now. He's in the profit by far, never had major drawdowns. You know, just reminding everyone that this is a great program mixed with your hard work will equal success. Mackenzie, she was newer and gave me an update when she was 2 weeks into trading. She had taken 11 trades, 8 of them hit their profit. That's a 73% win rate while still being new to the system and making some mistakes. Beyond excited about what it will mean for her future. Pretty cool. And then Jerry not only trades with his personal accounts, but he also manages other people's money with this trading strategy and loves that I get to see people succeed. So totally awesome. So you're gonna get all of this. the 8 training modules, the toolkit, trading community, weekly group coaching calls, and that extended access. So all of this is valued at $9,480, right? But that's not what I'm going to charge you. So I had 2 choices with my pricing. You know, I could charge the true value of the program while leaving many people out of reach financially, which didn't seem right. Or I could go a little cheaper, undercharge, over-deliver, get a lot of happy traders, a lot of people getting results, so that I could help as many people as possible achieve this Forex trading success, which is a true passion of mine, because I took the long, hard route. And being on the other side of that, I realized you don't have, it's not as hard as I was making it ultimately. So I'm going to tell you the price here in a second, but I want you to stop and think about, like, what would a lifetime of Forex success and financial freedom be worth to you, right? Like learning a skill that is yours forever, yours to keep. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'd pay way more than $10,000 for that if I could make money. But of course, I'm not going to charge you that today. So you're going to get all of this, the modules, toolkit, trading community, weekly group coaching, and extended access for a year, valued at almost $9,500, only for $2,200. So it's like less than a fourth of the actual value, which is pretty huge. But, you know, you guys have all been on here. You're watching this. I appreciate your time. And I really want to make this a no-brainer for you this week. So I've got a limited time offer for you. You're going to get everything we talked about, valued at almost $9,500. Normally, I charge $2,200. If you go to my website, you'll see that. It's normally $2,200. But for you guys today, only $995, which is over half off my normal asking price. And I know that, you know, there's a lot going on in the world, so I want to make it even sweeter. You could do $995 or 3 payments of $333, right? So I'm making this totally accessible for you, but I can't offer it forever, right? So this is a fast action discount, everything we talked about, for $995 or 3 payments of $333. This offer expires Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern. So I know a lot of you are watching this after the fact. I want to make sure I give you enough time. And it's also only available to 10 lucky people, right? So I take a lot of pride in being able to serve people at a high level in my group and in my community. So I'm only limiting this, you know, special offer to 10 people to make sure that when they get in, they're getting that level of service they need and they want and they're signing up for. So if you want to take advantage of this special offer, you can go to consistentfxprofits.com/promo. So this is how you'll get that special price we talked about. And I'm about to open it up for questions as well. But first, I also want to give you, if you're still here and sticking around, I want to also thank you for attending and give you that trade plan checklist I talked about. So I'm going to type this. So David put the promo link in there. Also, I'm going to type in where you can get the free trade plan checklist. So that's yours to keep and download. So that link is in the chat box as well. And then I'm going to go to Q&A now. So if you have questions, go ahead and type them in the chat box there. We're going to go to Q&A, and then I will leave this up so you can see the offer as well. And the link is at the bottom to get the promo. So does anyone have any questions? Post them in the chat box. We've got a little bit of extra time here. If you want to know anything about my trading strategy or my trading approach or what's included here. Someone asked if they could watch this later. So I know that David and Anka are going to be sending out the recordings after the fact. So Julia, yep, you will be able to access that later. Dean asked what platform I use. So I use Oanda. They're a US broker. They're international too, but I know they have locations in the US. Oanda, they have several trading platforms within their, being the broker. And I use the web platform. So I am a super simple trader. I don't use a whole bunch of fancy indicators. I know Stephen was asking if I use any indicators. I do not. I am a pure price action trader. So what that means is I'm using candle action. I'm using support and resistance. I'm using price movement, which is, really analyzing those swing highs and swing lows and what price is telling you. And so those are all incorporated in my qualifications for identifying those high probability trade setups. And that's exactly what I teach you in my program, respective to my trade plan. Abbas asked what time frame I trade off of. So I am an intraday trader, which means I'm in and out of trades in a single day, and I actually overlap using 3 time frames on my charts. So I use 2 higher time frames and an entry time frame. So I start at my 4-hour chart with candle action, looking for a certain candle sequence, and then I go up to my daily chart, which is a time frame higher, to make sure the 4-hour and the daily are aligned from a support and resistance standpoint. And when those two are aligned, I then go down to my 15-minute chart, which is where I determine my entry and exit points. And I first make sure that price movement on the 15-minute chart is in alignment with what I'm seeing on the higher time frames. And when that's the case, I set my entry and exit points or my pending order from the 15-minute chart. So I know exactly to the pip, where I'm going to enter. I know where I'm going to put my stop loss, which is all price action based. And then I know where I'm going to put my take profit as well. Great question. Graham asked, do you have a link to your own trading performance results via my FX books using your strategy? I don't use my FX book, but I have lots of information on my website. So I can put that link here as well about like screenshots and things like that. So I just put that link in the chat box there. There's more testimonials and more screenshots of my own results, so you can check that out there. Jeff, I think I already answered your question. What timeframes do you use? Intraday, day trade, multi-day? So the cool thing about my strategy, by the way, is I'm an intraday trader, and that's how I teach the program. But by default, me using a technical form of analysis and overlapping different timeframes is you can also scale up and down. So that's one of the things I talk about in Module 7 of my course. One of the ways you can grow and scale is you can actually go up or down in timeframes to get trading opportunities at different styles, right? Like at intraday trading, I use the 4-hour daily and enter on the 15-minute. If I wanted to day trade, I would use the daily, weekly, and enter on the hour. If I wanted to scalp, I would use the 1-hour and 4-hour and enter on the 5 minutes. So all of that level of detail is covered. It's really cool how scalable this trading approach is. Zayed asked, do you use candlestick patterns as part of price action trading? Yes. So that's one of my first qualifiers. I use candlestick, like a series of candlestick sequences on my 4-hour chart. And then as far as true like patterns go, I look at price movement, which is like those series of swing highs and swing lows, which is, comparable to people who are like pattern traders. Zaid said, do you use tight stop losses or are they based off the latest swing highs, swing lows? So the answer is yes to both of those. So my stop losses are fairly tight. I'm looking for small moves in the market at that intraday trading level. So my stop losses are less than 20 pips. And they're also based on price action, or basically based on being slightly behind the most recent swing high or swing low. Great question. What session do I normally trade? From Steven. So I actually trade throughout the day. So in years past, I've traded solely in the morning. So I'd get up and trade at 5 a.m. Eastern and 9 a.m. Eastern. But my approach gives you the opportunity at that intraday trading level to look for trades every 4 hours, since I'm looking for a certain candle sequence on the 4-hour chart. So now I've actually increased how often I trade this year, and I'm trading at 9 a.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, and 9 p.m. Eastern. So I'm now trading 4 times a day, which is actually what a lot of traders in my program can look for trades multiple times a day, even if they're working full time, right? Because they could look before they go to work, maybe on their lunch hour, when they get home from work, and then maybe even before bed. So you really can take my trading approach and tailor it to meet your lifestyle, which I think is huge with trading. Ami asked, can you recommend a good book about trading Forex or futures? So with this being a mindset book, I'm going to flip the script on you there. I think if you want to trade Forex or futures, you really need to focus on the strategy, right? You need to pick a strategy to use. So like a program like mine or a different program that actually gives you the exact trade plan. Yeah, you can, like I was saying earlier, you can consume all this information and things about indicators and how to trade and all that. But if you don't know how to put it all together to get like a winning strategy, I think you're really kind of wasting some time. But I will recommend a good mindset book, which is Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. It's what I would consider to be an oldie but a goodie. It's very applicable to like having the right mindset about trading. Again, it's called Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. Graham said, do you trade any indices or just currency pairs? If you're trading price action, you can trade anything. You are spot on. So Graham, I personally trade Forex. It's worked really well for me. I've had no reason to deviate. But to your point, I have a lot of traders that go through my trading program. They trade indices, they go on and trade stocks and apply it to many other things. I just personally have not done it, but I have lots of traders come back to me and tell me because they've had prior experience in those other markets. They're like, oh yeah, this is totally applicable. And they go off and run with it. Can I use your indicators on MT4? So I don't use any indicators, but certainly you can trade on MT4 with my approach. The one reason I like Oanda's web platform instead of MT4 is in MT4 you can't change your chart time, whereas like I align my chart times to kind of the trading sessions instead of just being a GMT. So it's a small technical thing. I do cover that in the program. You could certainly do it. You would just trade what you see on your charts, but your charts from a candlestick standpoint would look a little different if you wanted to use MT4 versus what I use as well. And then Joe asked, this will be the last question. I know we're running up on time here. Swing trade 4-hour window, day trade 15-minute window. So it depends. So Joe, I use 3 time frames in each one. So at the day trading level, I enter on the 15-minute chart, but I actually also use the 4-hour and the daily as like a higher time frame reference point to make sure that it's part of my qualifications, right? I need to see a certain candle sequence on the 4-hour showing me that price is respecting a support and resistance level. I need to see the daily chart also at that support, the same direction, support or resistance. And then I go down to the 15-minute and look for price action or price movement. Swing trading, you would go up 2 time frames, right? Day trading, you'd use the daily, the weekly, enter on the 1 hour. Swing trading, you would use the weekly and monthly and enter on the 4-hour. So all scalable. And then I saw one more question sneak in there. I'm going to grab it. Is your risk management strategy similar to what funded trader firms ask their traders to abide by? I don't know. I don't know what funded trader firms ask their traders to abide by, but I can tell you about my risk management strategy, which is that, you deposit money or you're using a practice account or whatever. I teach you to risk only a very small % of your account balance on a trade, right? So, you're getting leverage in the Forex market of up to 50 to 1 if you're in the US. And I teach you to risk if you're 1% of your account balance, basically. So if you're trading on a $1,000 account, that's $10 on a trade. If you're trading on a $100,000 account, that's $1,000 on a trade. And you can scale up beyond that 1%, again, once you're getting results, but start small. Don't put too much money on the line with each trade, and make sure that you are getting, protecting that hard-earned money, right? You don't want to put too much money on each trade, because then if you run into, some losses in a row, your drawdown is going to be big. And for me, I don't want a large drawdown, right? I want those consistent wins, winning your trades over 70% of the time, having minimal drawdowns. Even at 1%, you're going to be able to really compound your money pretty quickly. Awesome. Joe said, great presentation. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate having this exposure to you. If you're interested, I'd love to work with you. Don't forget that consistentfxprofits.com/promo, and cheers to your trading success. I hope you enjoy all the presentations this week. There are a lot of fantastic people sharing lots of wonderful information. So have a great day. Thank you, Anka and David.